You're listening to a New York Jets episode of the Jacob Valk Show. He's breaking down the team's latest goings-on as only he can. Follow him on Twitter at RealJacobValk. Here he is, Jacob Valk.
Hello, Jets fans! Welcome to another New York Jets instant recap here on the Jacob Valk Show. I am Jacob Valk, and I sincerely hope that this game puts to bed the notion that Sam Darnold can be a franchise quarterback. It's done. It's over. The ship has sailed. The ship sailed a long time ago with him being the answer for the Jets. But there were some people who said, if he goes to Pittsburgh and becomes Roethlisberger's heir apparent, you've got something there. If he goes to the Falcons and becomes Matt Ryan's heir apparent, you've got something there. Washington needs a long-term quarterback. Maybe they'd look to trade for Sam Darnold. There's no way anyone takes him now. This may have been the worst game of Sam Darnold's career. And that's saying something, because he's had some stinkers. This may be worse than the Ghosts game. After the first drive, the Jets had nothing going offensively. The offense couldn't produce to save their lives. All the Darnold supporters have said, you know what? He's playing with no weapons. Wait until he gets everyone back. Wait until Crowder, Mims, and Perryman are back. Then you'll see this kid's the answer. It wouldn't matter if Jerry Rice, Don Hudson, and Randy Moss were the Jets' 3 wide receivers today. Sam Darnold would have blown it. This kid is useless. I'll tell you, if I was another GM, I wouldn't give up a 7th round pick for this guy. All this talk about the Jets getting a Josh Rosenthal. Go back and watch Rosen, his rookie year. Contrast that to what you just saw. And tell me if those guys are in the same universe. Rosen, there was this sense of, we don't know what we're getting. We can mold this guy. He's still an unpolished gem. Give it time. It can work. We've given Darnold 3 years. He's had over 30 starts. The Dolphins gift-wrapped this game to the Jets. Back-to-back drives in plus territory. They're only down 10 at this point. This was the turning point. Nothing else matters. The Parker catch that wasn't a catch, that led to a Dolphins touchdown, irrelevant. When you boil this game down to the ground, you'll see that it just comes down to those 2 drives. Here's what the Jets did. 1-yard run, incomplete pass, incomplete pass. That's 1 drive. They went 3 and out. That's the drive that they started on the Dolphins' 45-yard line. The defense comes up big again. The Jets start off in better field position. First and 10 at the Dolphins' 26. 2-yard run. Darnold sack. The offensive line was dreadful today. I don't think the offensive line has been that bad this year, and I understand that they were playing shorthanded. But my God, that was a bad game. Becton was really good. Elflein was solid. But other than that, forget about it. McGovern, Van Roten, and McDermott were like turnstiles. They'd have trouble stopping 5-year-olds. Darnold actually completed a pass on 3rd and 16. It was a miracle. It's 4th and 1. Correct decision to go for it. Correct decision to hand the ball off to Frank Gore. You can't trust Sam Darnold in that spot. Frank Gore was the only guy who you could trust there. You can like Denzel Mims all you want. At the end of the day, Darnold still needs to get the ball to him. You can't trust him there. It had to be a Gore run. Now, I expected it to be like a slash to the left side. Instead, it was a run up the middle. That made no sense. It got stuffed right there by Elandon Roberts. Right there, the game's over. The Dolphins go 3 and out. Jets get the ball at their own 42. It's good field position, but it's not as good as getting it in plus territory. The Jets went 3 and out on that drive. So just to recap, the Jets had 3 drives start at no worse than their own 42-yard line. They ran 10 plays. They got no first downs. Maybe there was a time that you could trust Frank Gore to carry you to victory. Not anymore. 1 hit and that's it. He's not breaking any tackles. Everyone's getting on Gase for being so Gore-reliant. It's the only guy you can trust. You've got Darnold making boneheaded decisions. Rolling right, throwing it across his body. Of course it's going to be intercepted. What the hell is this kid doing? Darnold threw for less than 200 yards, had 2 interceptions. You want him? You can have him. I'm done with him. Joe Flacco gives the Jets a better chance to win than Sam Darnold does. So then keep starting Darnold. Because we all know it's about tanking for Trevor. I'm telling you, you can win a game and still get Trevor Lawrence. The Jaguars have had some really close losses recently. Excluding the Steelers game, the Jaguars lost all their games this month by 8 points total. They're gonna pick up a win. They've got some winnable games coming up. The Vikings next week, the Ravens on the 20th, the Bears on the 27th, the Colts to finish up the season. If the Colts aren't playing for anything, it's possible that the Colts will be playing for something, but if they're not, that's a winnable game. So 3, maybe 4 of the Jaguars' remaining games are winnable. And it goes back to another point. Do they really need a quarterback? They're producing on offense. But they've given up at least 20 points in every single game. You combine that with the fact that they've had really close losses, I think they'd be amenable to trading down. I'm serious. 2nd overall, plus one of the Seahawks picks, maybe a day 2 pick in this year's draft, I think they'd do it. They could even move down again. They could move down from 1 to 2, and then 2 to wherever. if a quarterback-needy team loves Justin Fields and they want to trade up for him. My point in mentioning all that is Joe Flacco needs to play. James Morgan needs to play. I'm sick of watching Sam Darnold. It's done. It's over. The best thing that could happen to Sam Darnold is if he never plays another game this year. He's just hurting his trade value. He's shown he's healthy. Okay, he proved to everyone that he's healthy. Now, shut him down. No one would begrudge you for it. You've got 5 games left in a useless season. Start Flacco for 3 and Morgan for 2. I'm completely serious. No one can accuse you of tanking if you do that. Here's what you say. You know, we've given Sam Darnold a lot of opportunities. It's not working out. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring along this new 4th rounder who we're really high on, and we're going to roll with him. We don't think he's ready right now, but he's going to be on the sidelines learning. I understand that Morgan's going to look just as bad, if not worse, than a guy like Ben DiNucci. Or hell, even Darnold. I'm not expecting Morgan to be the second coming of Peyton Manning. But I want to see it for myself. At the end of the day, we'll never truly know how bad Christian Hackenberg would have been because we never saw him. We saw Bryce Petty, so we know how bad he was. I'm not saying Hackenberg would have been good, but we'll never know for sure. I want James Morgan to be given a legitimate chance to show what he can do in the NFL. You spent a 4th round pick on this guy. You see something in him that you like. Darnold's not the answer. Can Morgan really be that much worse? I mean, for God's sake, the Jets are a train wreck anyway. Morgan will fit right in. This is the worst start to a season in franchise history against Adam Gase's old team. He was only able to score 3 points against them. That's it. I'm not saying the Dolphins are a bad team, but last time I checked, Bob Greasy isn't playing anymore. Mercury Morris isn't playing anymore. Bob Kuchenberg is dead. Do I need to keep going? Jake Scott just died. To only put up 3 points against them is inexcusable. I've been hard on the defense all year, but they played really well here. They had 2 big takeaways. Takeaways that if they benefited a competent offense, would have resulted in them actually winning a game. You gotta feel bad for him. You've gotta feel bad for a guy like Marcus May. LaMichael Pirines 100% right. He's underrated. He's a really good player. You've gotta feel bad for Harvey Longy. A guy who goes all out every play. You've gotta feel bad for a guy like Neville Hewitt, who had his best game of the season. You've got to feel bad for a guy like Quinnen Williams, who continues to get better. They showed up. The offense didn't. This team is a joke. They are an embarrassment to forget football, forget sports, Western civilization as a whole. Realistically, the only question left is, do they let Gase finish out the year? We just saw the Lions fire Matt Patricia. Gase lasted longer than the 3 guys that besides him entered this season on the hot seat. There is something to be said about that, I guess. But at the end of the day, you've got to do something to try to inject some life into this offense. You can't go out there 5 more Sundays and get creamed like this. You've got to fire Gase. You've got to fire Loggins. If Dowell Loggins isn't good enough to call plays for the Jets, that should give you a sense of how bad he is. I'd say that the Jets should fire Gase now. And they should, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to go crazy over it. I don't care. It's irrelevant. If they do it now, great. If they don't, fantastic. We only have 5 more Sundays left to watch this guy. Again, I don't think he's the seminal reason behind this, but he's certainly not helping things. He's in way over his head. He has to go. You know, I really thought the Jets could win this game. Like, I'll tell you what I did before the game started. There's a wrestling store in Queens that's been having a bunch of signings recently. I'm not a wrestling fan anymore, but I have a couple wrestling books that I've collected autographs in for a long time, and I just like doing that. They had a signing today with an 80s wrestler named Outback Jack. The signing was from 10 to 1. Now, I left my house at about a quarter after 11. And I'll tell you, I was booking it to get there. Changing lanes like crazy, pedal to the metal, all that stuff. And driving back, same thing. I stopped to get lunch for myself, but it's again, pedal to the metal, on the side streets, same thing. I rushed to and from that signing and got home with 10 minutes to spare. Because I wanted to watch this team. I really thought they had a chance. You know what? Let's see what Darnold can do with all his wide receivers healthy. The Dolphins are going to have no running game. They've got Ryan Fitzpatrick under center. The Jets are home. The Dolphins aren't going to have their fans rooting them on. I really thought the Jets could win this game. God, do I feel like an idiot. Should have listened to Outback Jack when he said, enjoy the game today, even though they're going to lose. He was more sensible than me, that's for damn sure. The Thanksgiving break is over. Regular episodes of the Jacob Valk Show come your way every weekday afternoon. New York Jets instant recaps come your way right after every game. Until next time, I am Jacob Valk saying, I think they recycle more managers than cans.